Ridiculous. Now we're live.
That was you. That wasn't ridiculous.
Yeah, that was all me. Alright, so for the third or fourth time, welcome to Ask the Unicorn.
I'm Ahura-Z.
I'm Manera Kazi. This is episode 61. It is March 4th, 2015, and he's talking.
Why are you on the edge?
Because I'm trying to get this here.
What am I talking about?
You were talking about your low sodium.
My low sodium bakery. Yeah, today is the last day of my campaign. I only have a few hours left before the campaign is over. I was hoping to reach $45,000, but I did not.
Why is it?
Don't worry about it.
No, hold on. It's telling me that we're in a private chat.
Are we in a private chat? Who are we chatting with?
Sonari. I don't even know. I hit public. I don't get it. Elise is calling.
Okay, Elise is going to have to wait until we fix this problem.
Yes. Can
they hear us?
I don't know. So.
Did Sonari say that we're in a private chat?
Yeah.
Does that mean that Kazi and myself are talking to each other?
We're talking to you and me and Sonari.
Well, how do we change that? You go to settings?
Oh, all set. She said all set.
Okay, so for the fourth time, this is Ask the Unicorn.
I lost count of how many times.
I'm Ahura-Z. I am your host, and this is Nirakazi Deliza, and she is having a problem tonight, but that's okay. You know, she'll get over herself. Okay. Yes, I'm bragging. I always brag about you.
March 4th, 2015, and it is episode 61. We are live now, and we have a caller on the phone.
I think it was March 14th.
Yes, March 4th.
Okay, I said callers can wait.
Oh, no, wait.
I said callers can wait.
Yeah, she's gone.
Okay. For those of you that have just joined the show, have just come here for the first time tonight, I'm sorry about the technical difficulties, but we're still ironing out a lot of problems with this particular program. It's supposed to be very, very friendly and very, very usable and very, very easy, but it has not been, especially when your computer is not feeling well. But yes, I have a Mac Pro, which is superior to PC, and I don't care what anyone says. That being said, I will answer any type of question that has to do with the metaphysical, the paranormal, the spiritual, and the mystical. However, there are two types of questions I do not answer, and that is whether or not someone's going to die or whether or not someone's cheating on another person. That's something you need to discuss with the people that you're asking about. I don't think it's fair, and I don't think it's cool. But beyond that, any question is fair game. Now, we have touched on some interesting subjects over the past few weeks, and I'd like to continue that trend. So if you have any kind of questions that I can answer that have to do with the topic, fine, ask them, ask away. I am your paranormal, mystical, spiritual, and metaphysical person to come to for answers. I have lots of experience. I'm also a natural telepath, among many other things that I won't go into, but let's just say that I had really good teachers and the universe has blessed me with certain gifts. I use this particular time to help people to develop themselves and help people to understand what they may be going through or what it is that they see. Now, as I said earlier, I've been campaigning for a low sodium bakery for the last 2 months, and this is the last day of my campaign. There's only a few hours left, and I'm not reaching my goal, which is of $25,000. In fact, I didn't even reach 10%. But you know, there are a lot of people out there a few people that did reach out to help, and I really appreciate you all. You all know who you are, and I won't forget it. Also, at least if I'm baking, none of you will go hungry. Okay, so that's part of the reason that I did start bakery. The other part is a very long story of how I wanted to start a bakery about 30 years ago, but didn't get to, and I figured I could do it now. I will still bake. I just won't get the little place that I was looking at, and I'll probably have to watch someone else get it, but that's okay. As I said, if you are one of those few people that stood with me, believe me, when the time comes, I will stand with you. Okay? For those of you that sat by and watched, okay, there will be a point in time where you get to understand why you don't just stand by and watch people. Now, let's have the questions.
Okay, I'd like to give a shout out to everybody who's watching: Barbara Flag, Karen Rideout,
Thanks for your patience.
Manbongo, Miyoko Cantor, Michelle Ayat, Juliana, and Lani are on, and in addition to a few others
Awesome.
that are probably guys.
Well, for all of you, thank you for your patience. This wasn't easy this evening trying to get this program to work, but we finally did get it working, and we will iron out the problems. Just give us a little bit of time. Now,
we have a few questions.
Okay. Now, before I get into all of your questions, though, I do like to talk about independent film, as I'm an independent filmmaker, among other things. There's some wonderful independent filmmakers that are working very diligently to bring you good entertainment, and I've named them from time to time. And the film that I am working on right now is called Foul Care, and it's going to be a wonderful film, and I'm hoping to get it out this summer. Okay, so if you'd like to check up on what that is, you can go to www.foulcaremovie.com and see some of the pictures and set production that we've been doing. In the movie, I play the part of Thor, god of storms, and Kazi plays the part of Pele, goddess of volcanoes, and she's known for her very bubbly and sweet personality.
Not. Nothing bubbly about fire except it's lava.
Yeah, but you're a bubbly person. Isn't she bubbly? Doesn't she look she's got bubbles?
So, we have questions about fairies.
All right, so what do you got?
Speaking of bubbles.
Fairies and bubbles.
Yeah, it works.
Okay, who asked the question?
Purple Mist says, I saw a fairy come off a pillow that I have on the sofa that has fairies on it. It was an actual fairy that flew off it and landed on a ceiling. What does this mean?
It means that you have fairies in your house, and you should probably do things to help them out. Let me tell you what fairies are like. They love plants, but real plants. If you have anything that is like a fake plant, it's kind of an insult to them, so I'd get rid of it. Get yourself some real plants. Also, they like when you set things out for them. And no, the fairy's not going to take a bite of your cookie, but what it will do is take the energy of it. So set wonderful things out for them to eat. These creatures are real, regardless of what anyone says or thinks. They just don't look exactly like Tinkerbell. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. It just means that you have some influences in your home that are trying to help you out. So help them out. Help them help you. Okay? Hope that helps you out.
I was reading there. And, it's not Lonnie, it's Le. Sorry, Le. I thought it was.
No, she said I can call her Le. So I'm special.
It is, isn't it? I thought it was Le.
It's Le.
Yeah, so I'm not.
No, you're not mispronouncing.
I'm not mispronouncing or jumping. I had a psychic moment there.
So she's a heck of a martial artist. For real.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Next question is, from guest 42, how can you tell if a dream is prophetic or if it is just a dream?
Well, it usually has to do with the energy of it. I'll give you some clues. Sometimes when something is just far away from you, and you can tell by the nature of it, if it's something that is on your periphery or far away from you, it'll usually appear in very faded colors, but usually if it's something very close, it's very vivid colors. At the same time, there's more of an effect. If something is prophetic, what happens is you never go to that third person perspective that you go to in dreams. You're in something and all of a sudden you're looking at it. Prophetic usually has an impact on you in some way, shape, or form. And then you can usually look for what happened or a version of what happened in the dream to happen in your real life. It may not be as impactful, it may not be as big, but it will be to the general direction. For instance, you have a dream about getting to this major fight, at work, and all these horrible things happen, and then you go in and you have a bad day. Now, that's still prophetic. It may have just totally overblown itself in your dream. You go in, or you're you have this big falling out, and everything just falls apart, and then you get in an argument with your girlfriend or your boyfriend, and it just makes you feel bad. That's usually what it means. It means for you to look out for things. A prophetic dream can oftentimes be changed depending upon the nature of it. You just have to find some of the significators, and they can be changed. I don't care if you got into an event that was perfectly prophetic. You can still change it. It just depends on how much you're paying attention. There's a monster chasing you in the dream. You can change that particular outcome by remembering what it is that you wore in the dream. And even some little things like you are dressed in this tuxedo, and for some odd reason you're dressed in this blue tuxedo and you're at school and you have to go to the bathroom and you wind up almost wetting yourself for real. Okay, I'm just giving you an example. What that's done is it's filtered itself through your psyche so that your subconscious could tell you that you need to go to the bathroom, but it has to play all these things out, right? That's an example. This is only an example. And then you wake up just in the nick of time because you notice that your blue tuxedo is getting wet. So you wake yourself up and you go, oh my God, I really got to go to the bathroom. So you go to the bathroom and everything works out okay. Okay, now, it has filtered itself, it has totally overblown things instead of just your body reacting and saying, okay, we have to go to the bathroom. It's played out this whole scenario just to get you to go to the bathroom. Okay, so you do that. Now, let's say that you have this fight, this bloody fight in your dream. And it's so real, it's so vivid, it's so strong. What that's trying to tell you is that there's a possible altercation that may be coming your way. Maybe not as overblown as it was in your dream, but there's definitely an altercation. So we need to do something to avoid it. Whenever something is prophetic, it's telling you that there may be a way to avoid it. Okay? Just, you have to remember some of the significators. You were going to wear this outfit to work. You have this dream in this outfit that you decided you wanted to wear. Here's a good thing to do. Change something about the outfit, or don't wear the outfit at all. It's not good enough just to not wear it. You kind of have to get rid of it so that possibility gets erased. You can erase possibilities. You can add possibilities based upon your dreams. You just have to know how to deal with dreams. Dreams are not just subconscious flotsam. What they actually are is prophetic, to change things, to cause things to happen, to clear things out, okay? Or to reason through things. They're just purely reactionary. That has to do with your subconscious. However, in the metaphysical portion of it, when something is prophetic, it shakes you to your very core. You always know. You know beyond knowing beyond knowing. But even then, that prophetic dream can be changed unless it has very little to do with you. Then if it is prophetic, if it comes out to be prophetic, there's not much you can do to change it, except for perhaps change your position in the dream. If you see a tsunami, it doesn't always mean that it has to do with where you are. Sometimes the tsunami is someplace else. And it is prophetic. For instance, I always said I saw what was going to happen September. I saw what was going to happen on that September 11th thing, like 3 or 4 years before it happened. It was very, very vivid. You know, 2 planes crashing, their lightning bolts, and all of a sudden it broke out into this huge war, this whole almost post-Holocaustic type of a thing. And I was telling people, no, there's 2 planes. They're going to crash someplace significant because of the lightning bolts, which meant the place of power. And I even told them, I said, listen, I think it's in New York. And it's in September. Definitely in September. And the morning that it happened, students came and said, you said that this event was going to happen in September. And I said, yeah, and they said, well, this is what happened. And I checked, and yeah. So it didn't surprise me. I knew what was going to happen. It's just, there wasn't a whole hell of a lot I can do about it except for tell people. So I told as many people as I possibly can. That didn't mean that they believed me. Not until after the fact, and then after the fact it was too late. So those are things that if you have dreams like that, you just have to decipher what they mean. And once you decipher what they mean, you have a choice. You can change it or not change it if it has to do with you. If it's bigger than you, there's not much you're going to do other than to let people know. But sometimes when something is prophetic, it dictates what's going to happen. You can tell 100 people, but that 101st person that you would happen to miss may be the key person. When it's just a dream, it's uneventful. Sorry to take so long with the explanation, but there's a definite difference between something that is just a dream and something that is prophetic. I myself look at all dreams to be significant, whether they are little or big. So, and thus I do dream interpretation. Okay, what do you got?
Next question is from Barbara Flagg.
Hello, Barbara.
So you mentioned in previous broadcasts about aliens. Could you give me more information on this topic as to their presence on Earth and its meaning?
Well, there are a lot of different schools of thought, okay? And I know that there's a whole community that believes that the aliens are here to save us and bring us into a new awareness and things like that. And that's very true, because if a new species comes to your planet, you're definitely going to be aware of it at some point in time, or they'll make themselves aware. But there are a lot of events that are happening right now that are just kind of irrefutable. No matter what anyone wants to say, these are creatures that may have been here long before we have. And it's funny how we call everything that we just saw alien or new. But I definitely do think that at some point in time, even we, in our stubbornness, are going to, and I'm speaking about the United States, and our stubbornness, are going to make it very well announced and make everybody aware that we have had contact with extraterrestrial life or other terrestrial life. And these are just facts. They are not make-believe. They're not some sci-fi thing. They are the truth. I mean, I myself have seen them. Other people that I know have seen them and had to deal with them. Other people have actually been abductees that I know and have phenomenal stories of what happened to them. And some of them are rather, I guess you could call them horrifying. I really don't think of it as horrifying. I think of it as just extraordinary. There are some bad things that have happened. There are some good things that have happened. These beings have been around for a really, really long time. And sometimes it's just stupidly obvious, that they're around. And it's just us humans that try to deny things. There are people who like to deny the fact that good or evil exist. Well, I choose not to believe in evil. I choose only to see the positive. You have to be blind or stupid to take that particular avenue. There's so many horrible things that have happened. And on the other hand, there's so many wonderful and beautiful things that have happened. If you're really that blind, you should probably stay inside, and just not go out ever. Because there's some ugly things that are happening. Likewise, there's some beautiful things that are happening. So, as far as the whole alien thing, I definitely think that there's an agenda here. Speaking of, that they've decided to send people to Mars, or at least that's the story. It could be a giant hoax, but, I find it pretty interesting that there are 100 finalists that and nobody asked me.
You didn't go to their audition.
Whatever.
In Hawaii.
Audition to go to Mars?
Didn't they do their whole biodome in Mars? Biodome
They still didn't ask me. I could have did a biodome.
You didn't go.
I can do a biodome.
Do the application thing.
I would have done the application had I known about it. Just say, well, people are going to Mars. Well, good luck. And they said it's a one-way trip. Yep. I know exactly what that is. One-way trip. You get in that thing hoping that you're going to make it to Mars and be okay. Yeah, that's a one-way trip. Tell us anything. You're probably over there being dinner for the Martians. So I think that there are even subterranean beings that are alive and well and visit us from time to time. They like to call them reptilians or whatever you want to call them. That's fine.
Whatever.
I like calling people names. They probably look at us and go monkeys. So as far as I'm concerned, this universe is teeming with life on every single planet. Just because we can't see them doesn't mean that they don't exist. And they probably look at us and say, well, I don't see anybody moving on that planet. There's no intelligent life on that planet, so it must not be worth anything. We look at the same thing. And I still say that Mercury is not a planet. Mercury is a moon. Okay, and I think that Mercury was Venus's moon, but it got knocked out of orbit, and that's why Venus is the way that it is. So there's a lot to think about when it comes to extraterrestrial life, when it comes to celestial life, and so on and so on and so forth.
Wait, are they still trying to sell real estate on the moon?
Oh gosh.
That was on eBay. That was a thing on eBay.
Oh yes, and on Jupiter and Saturn and Mars, like we own it. We have got to be some of the most arrogant people ever.
I think by now with all this technology, they'd be like, let's go back to the moon.
Fine, go ahead.
Study more of the moon stuff.
Go to the moon.
But they freaked out because they found orange people.
Yeah, I know. We're like so arrogant. Let's sell a piece of Jupiter. Well, you don't own Jupiter. I would love to see one of the Jupiterians, another Jupiterian, come here and say and talk about it and actually say what they have to say. Okay? I mean, it's just ridiculous. Selling Jupiter. How dare you? Anyway, hope that helps you out.
Would the real estate be more expensive if you were on the Earth side of the moon or on?
Well, then they'd be selling Earth, and Earth is worth about $40.
Who wants this?
Earth is worth $40 or so, right?
The sunny side of the moon. Like here we sell beachfront property, sunfront property. I'm just thinking about it. Anyway, so we have another question. We have a question from, is it Le or Le?
Le. I just told you that.
Right. How is that?
Le.
I have heard about a lady freeing a pope whose soul was imprisoned for many centuries in the Vatican by performing the Holy Grail vortex taught by the Catholics. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to shorten this sentence or question of yours. She says, I know of other souls that were released from the Serpent Mounds in Ohio that were said to be ancient Anunnaki royalty.
Anunnaki royalty.
It's what are your thoughts on entrapped souls? How do they do this, and what are their intentions?
Well, it depends. Sometimes it's to stop them from moving on. Other times, they get trapped on their own by their own devices. Maybe they have a hard time letting go. Other times, maybe they have staked a claim somewhere, or even waiting for someone to come and get them, or someone to even reincarnate. It just depends. You have to find out the situation based upon the soul, not the event. But then again, you have to look at the fact that there are other states of life. We, in our humanity, are based in a physical human form that only has a temporal existence. These other life forms may not have such a temporal existence. Perhaps they can go dormant when they want to, or they can even take a non-corporeal form when they need to. And then when they need to again, they can incorporate themselves. So I look at it this way. There's some events that are going to happen, and obviously people here, there are people in power that know that, and know that even the Anunnaki are looking to be returned again. So they may be waiting for someone, waiting for the return of the Anunnaki in the actual physical form, so that they can join with them. Because remember, we humans are the ones that are so slow to understand the difference between corporeal and non-corporeal, and to understand that they can become one depending upon the situation or depending upon the arrangement. There are other beings that can become one with a corporeal form at any moment in time that have no problem with it. They can just reach that state of oneness. Sometimes they are not trapped. It's just the way that we read them. Other times they can be trapped as someone in the universe thought that it was necessary to keep them. So before you go releasing something or someone, you should really do a lot of research and investigation. Maybe they're where they are for a reason. Maybe that person was in that particular spot because of something that he did or she did or they did. Sometimes they have to serve a penance. Other times, maybe they stepped into a trap. Maybe they just got a bum rap, or maybe they just grieving and turned on themselves and said, well, I don't deserve to move any further, so I'm just going to stay here. And then you have to convince beings like that, listen, that's great. You did what you did so long ago. You have to, at some point in time, understand and declare yourself served in your penance, and then move on. But we have yet to really understand the ways of the metaphysical. We can understand some of them, and most of us don't want to, but there are some of us that really want to go as far as possible. And helping to understand that you don't have to go ghost hunting, you don't have to go spirit searching, you don't have to go on a tour to find a ghost. All you really have to do is look around. You may be walking through them constantly, and I dare say that most of us do walk through them constantly because of so many thought changes that we have. When it comes to thought, there is no barrier between the spiritual world and the world of thought, which is why these spirits do know your thoughts. They're not hidden from them, and they don't have to read your mind. All they have to do is pay attention. It's only us humans that think that there is a separation between the outside and the inside, and we really need to grow up. Fortunately, we are growing up, but then we can understand the world of oneness. And if you can understand that the world truly is one, you'll be able to see those things that you normally would not see based upon physicality. So I hope that helps you out. What have you got? What's next?
Next question is from Michelle Ayach. She says, I'm curious about extinct animals. As a saber-toothed tiger came to me the other day. What are your thoughts?
Well, like I said, just because we don't see them normally doesn't mean that they don't exist. There's so many different dimensions and so many different layers of dimensions that these beings probably still are walking around just in a different dimension. So perhaps that dimension moves a lot slower or a lot faster than the dimension that we all inhabit. And it is possible for us to develop ourselves to such a degree that our vibration heightens to such a degree that we can enter those dimensions. We just have to be willing to do it. Unfortunately, a lot of people are just very attached in what it is that they do. It's the most amazing thing. A person can see a spiritual truth right in front of them, yet constantly be willing to choose the lower vibration because they feel as though they're losing something or could lose something. I'll ask you all a question. If you had the opportunity to go to another planet and live in a totally different dimension, would you take it, or would you just question it? Would you just sit back and say, well, I don't know, it could be a bad situation, and I really can't do this because I have this and this and these and these and that and this, and I would like to do it, but I
don't want to take it.
It might be. Most times it is. Except for that whole Mars thing, I know exactly what that is.
Can I bring my dog?
No.
I'm sorry, I'm not going.
See, that's what I'm talking about.
I'm not leaving my doggy behind.
Your doggy can't go.
Why not?
Because
He
wasn't invited.
he's my white shadow.
I don't care. He still wasn't invited.
I'm not going. Can I bring my ferrets?
No.
I'm definitely not going.
Yeah. Get kicked off of the plane.
You'd have to lean.
I don't know.
Lean behind.
I could arrange it for you. I'll see if they can. It just depends.
I'll pay for the extra person ticket for my
No,
dog.
because they don't want your money. Anyway, it does amaze me. People would turn down being a millionaire and living like royalty because they don't want to leave their friends behind, but they don't see the big picture.
Bring your friends.
No, you don't have to bring your friends. You can come get your friends at a later date when you've established everything.
Oh.
That's what I would do. I'd say, well, let me go fix everything up. Then I fix everything up, and those people that are in my clan, I would come and get, or at least offer the opportunity. If they didn't want to come, fine. I'll go party all by myself. This party sucks.
Started.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
What have you got?
speaking of different dimensions, we have a question from Karen right up, and I will get back to the Tree of Life's question in one moment. I just figured I would tie it together because we're talking about dimensions. Karen asks, she asks, can my husband go too? If not, no.
Well, yeah, your husband can go.
So what's, all right. Karen says, my daughter.
He helped cook.
I'm assuming that he can cook. My daughter described to me an incident where she was not sleeping but not fully aware, and she said she was in what she described another dimension. A person was sitting in a chair in a beautiful field of green grass and flowers.
Mm-hmm.
This person did not look like us. It had horns, but it was not scary. It told her she didn't belong there and told her to leave. She can also see auras and feel others' emotions. What do you make of her vision and emotions?
It's pretty self-explanatory. She can see.
Where'd she go?
Well, she might have went. There's a lot of places she might have. That was probably a satyr that she saw.
Oh, yeah. Did it have hooves?
Yeah, might have been a satyr that she saw, and it did tell her that she didn't belong there, which meant that it just wasn't time for her to be there. You can say it like that.
What happens?
It does happen, but the place is very pretty. I too have been to a place similar to that, and it's just very real for her. At some point in time, how old is she, by the way?
26.
26?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Perhaps she'd want to be able to see that at any moment in time. You said that she sees a lot. She could also be telepathic or even empathic.
Well, she feels other people's emotions.
Mm-hmm. That's usually empathic. And empathic people have vision as well. They just have a different type of vision from a person like myself. I can see things and I can see just about anything, yet not have the emotional attachment to it. There are people that feel everything that may not understand what it is that they're seeing, but they definitely do feel it. So that would be a form of empathy. And I would recommend her training it.
And you can give us a call for training.
I do teach. I teach classes. And I don't teach for free, however. It is my livelihood. It's not my hobby. And I know that there are a lot of people who say, well, it's just knowledge. Shouldn't you give it for free? Right. Because you went to school for free, didn't you?
Yeah.
I'm very good at what I do. And I'm very, very good at training people. And if you want training, if you want real training, you'll come see me. You can usually reach me at Unicorn Cove School of Metaphysics. That's www.unicorn-cove.com. And you can also reach me at Ask the Unicorn as well, www.asktheunicorn.com. You can give us a call at area code 207-347-5686, and I will be very happy to map out your best form of training. I usually offer 6-week increments in training, and if you want to do a whole semester training, we can arrange that as well. I do expect of my students to follow directions. I do not run a democracy. I run a dictatorship. I say, you do. I teach, you learn. Okay, and that's the bottom line. No games, no, what do they call that stuff? You know, tell me how you feel that you should be taught. I will tell you how you will be taught.
And how you feel.
That's right. I'll even tell you how you feel.
Mm-hmm.
But but you will receive the training that you need to, and I will get you to where you want to be. That's the bottom line. My training is not the easiest training, but it is definitely worth it. And I do recommend that to anyone that has discovered that they may have a gift. I'm kind of like Professor X, only I'm Professor Z. I train mutants. That's not a joke, it's the truth.
Karen says, I'm the one who had the brain surgery. You wanted to meet me after the surgery was over. I will give you a call for that meeting.
Good.
Awesome.
I would love to meet.
And she says, hooves, and how is the word satyr spelled?
SATYR.
And she didn't say it had hooves. It was just beyond beautiful. She's been seeing things and feeling things since she was 2-ish.
Yeah, I know where she went. That place is called Elysium. I've been there. It's very beautiful. Burning blue skies, beautiful grass, and all these flowers. There's beautiful trees, people there. Very peaceful place, not like lay down peaceful, but just very, everything's fine. Yeah.
Esther has a question in regards to peacefulness, I guess. I don't know. She says, I have a memory of being a spirit in heaven before being born. Do you think that it is a real memory? I have had this memory since I was 7 years old.
How is it to you? Is it real to you? If it's real to you, then that makes it real. Too often times we leave how we truly feel up to someone else. I decided when I was a child that I'm going to feel what I feel, and I'm going to see what I know I see, regardless of what someone thought about it. You said you have a memory of being in heaven. Hold on to that memory and don't let anyone talk you out of it. I don't care how many letters they have before or after their name. I think in your particular case, you allow people to voice their opinion too much. So I'm just going to say it this way. If it's real to you, it doesn't matter if it's real to anyone else. It really does not matter. Besides, there are worse memories to have. You have a memory of being in heaven. Awesome. Awesome. I remember being in heaven too. You know, I've spoken to other people that have a memory of being in heaven. The cool thing about being in heaven is that you can't have a memory without heaven being within you. And if heaven is within you, then it means that to some degree you are meant to manifest that heaven here on earth. So don't give up that. Just make it happen to the best of your ability. That helps you. What else we got? Yeah, I'm on the road.
Yeah, unfortunately my laptop is not on the road. The battery's draining.
Um,
15 minutes. I'm sorry if you cut out, guys.
it's okay. 15 minutes is
All
fine.
right. Barb says, I wouldn't go to Mars and leave my family. Plus, I don't trust the government that I would even get there. And she's
Exactly. That's. Ain't I been saying that? I've been saying
yeah,
that.
and she also wants to know if you do group readings.
I do indeed.
Yep.
Doesn't matter how many there are. I've done readings for as many as 32 people. It was pretty easy.
We have another question from Tree of Life. They say, I see numbers a lot like 111 or 222. Does this have any significance?
It does indeed. It's talking to you about a 3-stage of existence. Depending upon the numbers, it is trying to tell you a different stage. So 111, which adds up to 3, 222, which is 6, 333, which is 9. So if you're going to go for that, it's still talking to you about a trinity, which is the cool thing, because listen, everything that happens on this particular planet will usually happen in threes. It's just the way that it is. It's so accurate. It's insane. It's like we're the third planet from the sun. Originally, we only really have 3 seasons. There are 3 stages to every single thing that there is. 1 and 1 make 3. That's just the bottom line of things. You take one attribute, you take another attribute, and you get a third attribute if you mix them together. So they always mean something. Numbers mean more than you could possibly imagine. So depending upon the numbers that you are and how you deal with them, there's a numerological equation. So if you got 111, you've got a 3, which is expansion, which is also psychism, which is dynamic, motivation, and enthusiasm, for those of you that are my numerology students. So if you're dealing with that, you're also dealing with orange, which brings about a really cool thing. Okay, remember earlier we were talking about Venus. Well, Venus is the orange planet. Venus should have been, well, it would be the orange planet, but it's kind of pale, gray, yellowish. Yeah. But anyway, let's just say that we have some attributes like orange, which comes from Venus or is part of Venus. So if you go with the third planet was actually 2 planets. Let's just say that, just because. Third planet, which was actually 2 planets, which was a dual. So we can say, like, people like to say that Venus and Earth are sister planets. But what if Venus and Earth were not necessarily sister planets? What if Venus and Earth were like a couple and they went around each other? Okay, let's just, just play with me here. Okay, and they each had moons, and it was those moons that kept their whole ecosystem the way that it was, and also kept them revolving around each other, like this, kind of,
like how?
Sort of, like that. Okay, and then some event happened, like a comet or a meteor that went like right between them and kind of glanced off of Venus's moon and kind of knocked it like into the sun. And all of a sudden, Venus slowed down because it couldn't keep that rotation. And since it couldn't keep that rotation, then it wound up slowing down, and its whole ecosystem just went to waste because it couldn't maintain anything. Its moon kind of dragged it towards the sun.
9%.
Its moon kind of dragged it towards the sun, and then all of a sudden, it was stuck out there with Mercury, which was Venus's moon, close to the sun. Now, if there was a way to get Mercury back away from the sun and put it back in the orbit of Venus, this is what I think. I think that if Venus would find its way back to its original orbit, okay. Well, anyway, I'm going on.
We have 4 minutes left.
That's nice. I'm going on this tangent only because you're asking about seeing these numbers. Each of these numbers that you are seeing are trying to tell you about events that will occur or events that are occurring, okay, even galactically or solar system wise.
Hey, what's this? We're live. Hello, can you all hear me now?
Yeah, that doesn't help me because I need to send Sonari that link.
You're talking, just, are you, can they hear me?
No, because I need to send Sonari that link so she can post it on the website, and I cannot do that through there. And everyone thinks we're gone. I said, good night. Do you still have battery? Yes.